Hello everyone. Hello world. How you doing out there? Paul Trani here, and the one and only VooDoo Val. And you know what? Look at, we're twinsies, just so you know.
Yeah.
I know you guys will see that in a sec, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or we thought we'd go with the signature, I don't know, black and red, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Sith colors, man. Sith colors.
Sith colors.
Are you folks really surprised?
I knew you were gonna say that. Like,
Yeah,
I
is
just
this a
knew it.
shot?
I was like, okay.
You felt it in the Force, Paul?
I felt it in the force, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Good to have you here, everyone. We've got Chad in the house, Sam Peterson in the house, Jason, Michelle. Did we plan to match? Always.
Oh, yeah,
Especially when
definitely.
it's as easy as running upstairs and putting on a different shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Val, I have that same. Hers is actually a hoodie. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, so a lot of you guys in chat might have been around for like the OG Adobe Twitch channel that was on Twitch TV for a while. So this is my my Adobe hoodie, and it's got like my name on it, and it says Adobe channel streamer on it, and then like my Twitch username. This is like, so this is I think that this hoodie, like, I feel like a lot of people have like a couple of things that are like super special to them. This is like one of my favorite things in the whole world, this hoodie.
Oh,
right
that's
here.
awesome.
Yeah. Reminder of great times and even greater people. So
Oh, you're too kind. Awesome. Well, you're looking fantastic.
Thanks.
Feeling pretty good too. Caffeinated.
yes, I
Pretty
actually
good.
have my coffee in this cute little frog mug.
Oh wow, that
So-
is getting keyed out. Here, this is my drink. Well, I have a coffee, but check this mug out.
Ooh,
Or
let me
it's
see.
a
I'm not
social.
gonna see it till later, but
It says social distance social club.
amazing. Amazing.
So that's my water glass for the day. Kind of nice. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun day. I'll kind of click through the schedule, Val, and I'll throw it to you. I know you.
All right.
I can't wait to dive in today. It's gonna be really fun.
All right,
Big
okay.
thank you to Shauna Lynn and Kathleen, kicking it off with Fresco and the Daily Creative Challenge. We'll be reviewing that Daily Creative Challenge in about an hour or so. At is that an hour and a half?
I
Hour
just
and a
saw
half.
your cup, by the way. It's a great
Oh yeah.
cup. It's a wonderful
Thank you.
cup.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's for our. We brought some to our neighbors, and it's for our virtual happy hour that we're having today.
Nice.
We have the
nice.
cups for it. So, of course, we have Val. We have you for 2 hours, which is awesome. We're going to continue what you were working on yesterday, which is really cool. And we also have a daily creative challenge in Illustrator with Julia right after us, and then XD this afternoon. XD workflows and pro tips, which will be awesome for a couple hours, and then dive into the creative challenge for XD there, and then sketch party this afternoon too.
Nice.
So it's pretty fun.
This is a good lineup. Like, I'm sure everybody's thinking this, but I feel like this is like one of those special places that, since all of this crazy stuff's been happening, like Adobe Live got like pumped up with so much extra cool stuff, and it's just like
Yeah.
a pleasure to be here hanging out.
Oh,
I love
yay.
it. We love it.
Oh, well, I'm definitely glad you're here, and we are doing some special things. I'm going to click over to this really fast, since you're going to be diving into Fresco, and this is kind of
Yeah.
why we're doing this, having this special stream with you. We're basically have Photoshop on iPad and Adobe Fresco sort of together. It's a bundle, essentially, is what's happening, that you can check out, and I'll paste this link down below as soon as I adjust my height. You look so much taller than I do right now.
Do I?
There we go. No, you're better. You're good. No,
Finally, I'm
you're
taller.
perfect. There you go.
We just talked about this.
So we'll get in a couple of these things. We're gonna dive into Photoshop on the iPad, and we'll talk about some of the features that we have also added. But it's cool that we've bundled both, and what that means, we could talk about that all day long. But Adobe Fresco Premium includes like the thousands of brushes that you can access. You can add your own. You can add Kyle T. Webster's. You have 100. Is it 100 gig in space? Something like that.
Oh,
a lot
wow.
of space. And this is cool, by the way. You see this bird
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
on the site?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. All they did is paint a photo. So if you scroll down,
Really?
they kind of show you how to do it. They just like jump in, add literally just water, and then you just kind of turn it into a watercolor, right?
No way.
You have to turn the photo into a pixel layer,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can. It makes it like wet paint, so it's kind of cool. So,
Nice.
anyway, now you know. What I think is really cool is your piece that you're working on. So I'm going to switch over to your screen.
Aww.
Because this is cool.
Yeah.
Yay!
So you guys saw me working on the Cthulhu yesterday. I guess I'm kind of like, I think I'm actually going to do more of these because we did like the adorable Dracula thing a little while ago, and then now we're doing like a cute Cthulhu. So you guys can keep an eye out for a poll pretty soon. I'm going to put up and let you guys vote on more classic monsters to make adorable. I think I'm going to continue on like making them super cute. But we had a blast yesterday. I started from scratch and I showed off like how I did my sketch and how I like went into like coloring and stuff. And I did actually edit this a little bit off stream. I kind of added like some details to his arms and his little legs and everything just to give him like some little scales and stuff. But the beautiful thing about Fresco is I don't actually have to tell you that I sketched more. I can actually show you the time lapse of all of the stuff that I've done from start to finish on this. So I'm going to go ahead and play the time lapse, and then I'm going to get into kind of what I have planned for the rest of this project. So I'm going to come up here. If you guys go up to the top, there's like a little publish and export button, and I can say publish and export, and then I can say time lapse export, and then it'll pull up the little video and start from like a blank canvas. It'll show all my weird little scribbles that I did, and then it just gets into basically how excuse me, how I started sketching and kind of figuring out how I was going to design this little guy. And I kind of for this particular project, what I wanted to do is not have a sketch prepared for you guys at all, because something that I tend to do when I am a illustrator here on Adobe Live is I always start out with a base so that it makes me feel more confident sometimes, and also, you know, we're under a time constraint usually, so I don't want to like start something that I can't finish. But this guy was a little more simple, and so I felt like I could kind of show my process for how I go about doing the sketch and then bringing it into like a final concept. So you can see here I'm like putting his little arms in. I'm about to give him like a few different kinds of arms that are all a little horrifying. Until I settle. I'm really glad that I did not end up going with the strange cat paws that I gave him, because every time I've watched this time lapse, I've really hated them. Do you ever like draw something or make something and then you like wake up the next day and look at it and you're like, what have I done? That was one of those.
That's funny.
But I think this is about where things start to change from what I did yesterday, because I kind of ended here yesterday. I added like some shine to his head. And then you can see that I went through and I smoothed it because the colors were looking a little bit muddy. I wasn't really pleased with them. I added a color over the top, played with some blending modes. I did like some new line art sketches, and I detailed his eyes again, and I detailed the scales on his arms. I gave him some scales on his legs, and I think he's looking pretty fabulous. So that's where I'm at right now. And so what I'd like to do today is actually a lot of stuff. We're gonna do a lot of things today. I would like to, first of all, kind of detail the little occultist that's like down here, because this guy, I mean, Cthulhu's big man on campus, you know, like he's pretty cool, but this guy actually has stolen my heart a little bit. I think he's precious. And I would like to illustrate maybe one or two more as well in like various poses, like waving their arms in the air like they just don't care because Cthulhu's back and they've summoned him and they're pumped about it. And then I kind of want to I'm going to bring the image into Photoshop for iPad and show you guys how I would go about making a post for like Twitter or something, like kind of making, because right now we've got, you know, a flat background. It's not super interesting. And I really love being able to use Fresco and Photoshop for iPad kind of hand in hand nowadays, because literally from my iPad, I don't have to do anything else but use those two programs, and I can go from start to finish. Like, and I've actually, to be perfectly honest, I've actually designed a sticker, like a whole sticker in Fresco cleaned it up in Photoshop for iPad, and then sent it to Sticker Mule from my iPad and got my stickers.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
That's
so
cool.
I this is perfect. So I'm gonna make like a little sticker today. Essentially, is what we're gonna
Awesome.
do. We've got our Cthulhu. I'm gonna leave him alone. I might tidy up his boots a little bit. Maybe I'll just take. I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's like the. I don't know if the boots need the same filter or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I think
know.
what he's missing, like in its entirety throughout here, is just more shine, like the eyes. You know,
Okay.
to kind of pop it out. Plus, I'm gonna remove this green background and put something more interesting back there, so he'll kind of pop a little bit more eventually. So I'm just gonna go like this. I'm gonna hold. So okay, actually, I want to make sure I highlight what I'm doing here. So I toggled on the setting to do like the little beta for straight lines in Fresco, and it's a glorious magical piece of technology. So if you click and drag your brush and then just hold it for a period of time, it will snap to a straight line. And not only that, but you can actually rotate this around, which is so incredible. It is so great. I love it, and I use this constantly. So I'm actually just gonna do like this nifty little thing that I like to do, which is I just kind of drag that straight line out. And then I'll from boot to boot here, and I am going to. I still keep because I'm sitting at my computer. I keep accidentally clicking my keyboard, like that's gonna do hotkeys on my iPad. But I'm using my brush tool, and now I'm like kind of separating these lines that I've made, and I'm still on my brush tool, and I'm just putting my thumb on the little. I can move this up so you guys can see it.
Modifier.
Yeah, I'm putting my thumb in the little modifier, and it changes my. My brush instantly to a eraser, which is really, really convenient. And I'm just gonna kind of outline his wee little rain boots here. Another thing that's really great is when I first got into Fresco, I think kind of when we first try out an Adobe app that we're new to, like when I first kind of got into using this, I was kind of a little like thrown off by selecting colors, you know, like having to tap the little color wheel or, you know, but once I got used to it and realized actually what's built in here, I realized just actually how easy it is to switch between colors while you're painting, because I'm used to using shortcuts and hotkeys and stuff on my desktop app, and I've memorized every single shortcut for every single thing that I use in my personal workflow, so I can cut out a bunch of time for my process. But I've got a flow down for selecting colors now that I want to share with you. So you can actually, like if it's easy for you, you can just tap that color wheel there with your thumb, and you can actually add colors into your little there's like recent colors you have used, which is cool. And then you can go into like colors that you have in your own library and everything, which is really cool. You can go into Fresco colors, and there's already some little themes and things prepared for you. Or if you're working on, like I'm working on this Cthulhu image, and I've been selecting colors throughout the project. So this is basically a menu full of all of the colors that are useful for me right now. That's helpful, but you can also say I'm painting in this red color and I like this like dark brownish red, but then I want to select some yellow. All I have to do is tap my canvas and hold, and it brings up this little eyedropper tool, and I can actually drag my finger across my canvas and position it over whichever color I want to select, and boom, there I go. So if you want to do just like a one-hand approach here, and you don't want to go into the menu, the color picker menu or anything, you literally just tap whatever color you want and
That's
hold,
cool.
and boom, and there you go.
Yeah.
So getting to know this program has really like shaved my mobile process time like down big time.
You know what I've used since using Fresco is I really found that recent colors have become pretty valuable for me at least.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like I kind of don't have that on. I don't know if I have that in Photoshop on the desktop, for instance. But,
yeah, I don't think so. And I think that was like, because what I used to do is I would just be like, okay, here's my project. And I know like I'm using this, so I do like a little scribble of this color, and then I grab some, maybe some purple, and I do like a scribble of that until I had like this huge collection of like weird blots of paint up in the corner of my my program. And then I would grab like the eyedropper tool and select, drag it over and do all that. But the recent colors makes it so darn easy to grab from a collection of things that you have already used for your project, and it just really helps. So those are some things that help me with my workflow. I hope that they help you with yours as well. But I've outlined his little boots, and I think that I'm gonna grab this white color, and I'm just gonna come in here and I'm gonna give him, I'm actually gonna come up to the topmost layer, make a new layer. And I'm just gonna start adding some little shine, because like I said, I think that the little tiny shine marks is what's gonna make this like finally pop him out from everything else.
I think so as well. Love the eyes.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun with this guy. This has been a blast, actually. I think I have like a newfound love for making super spooky things super cute, because that's kind of I think my signature as far as my art goes is like I paint the creepy stuff, but maybe we can kind of talk about something less technical and more of just like decision making as far as your design career and stuff. For a long time, I felt like pretty locked in to a very particular, almost like a personal art stereotype. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
I draw like Star Wars stuff, and I draw like scary character portraits, and like that's the only work people usually approach me for, and that's usually what like the only thing that people really expect from me. And so kind of being able to branch out into something a little bit different, like this, has really been helping me, not only because it kind of shows like my online audience that I'm capable of doing something a little bit different than what they expect, but I think it's also kind of helped me feel like I have the confidence to do something new as well. Which is actually so much of the fight of like breaking out of a personal art norm, I think.
Yeah.
Is like, trying something new, and like once you have that success or you get like a good reaction from people about it, you're like, oh, I guess I don't have to do the same thing I always do, So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I do hear artists and designers kind of talk about that, because they build their brand based on like a certain look, and then they're kind of stuck doing that look, and then they have to spend time. They have to use all their own like sort of personal time to experiment and do something new, that hopefully clients will like as well.
Exactly.
But that's fascinating. That's kind of. Which is awesome you get to do what you love. That's like you have a niche, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting out of it can, it's cool having a niche. You're the person that they go to for this, but it can be constraining is kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, it really can be. And I think that, oh no, don't worry. There's still going to be Star Wars drawings and Star Trek drawings. Don't worry, guys. I think it's just like, it can be really hard sometimes, I think, when you're doing one kind of work, and especially if that kind of work is like your main source of income, right? And like to try and break away, and you're absolutely right, you do really have to spend like your free time kind of breaking away from stuff. It's not always super easy just to put time into developing like a new style. And I would say for the most part, I feel like I'm kind of at the beginning of like finding a voice, like kind of doing cuter things. I feel like there's still like an element of the weird and strange when it comes to these illustrations for me, but it's kind of like the way I chose to go about it is like not just like going into full on like children's illustrations, but just like I feel like if you would like if you would enjoy a painting that I did of like a terrifying monster, which I've done many times, then you would probably also be willing to at least like retweet or maybe purchase a sticker of a terrifying monster looking adorable. And I'm kind of like bridging the gap there between the audience I already have and the audience that maybe would not appreciate so much a more realistic, detailed approach to horror. Because I love the horror genre, I kind of always have, but not everybody wants to see that. So I guess like planning, it can be beneficial, I think, to plan ways in which the new avenue that you would like to take with your art can also relate, at least for a temporary time, how it can relate to the work you're already doing, so that you're not abandoning one group of people and trying to forge a new audience. That makes sense.
Yeah. Into it, and you could, I was thinking about, you could even have like two portfolios. Like there's Adobe Portfolio. You get to, you could use that to, you have your Behance portfolio, then you can have an Adobe portfolio where you've selected certain pieces to go in your Adobe portfolio.
Oh, yeah.
Ultimately, like if you had two portfolios is kind of what I'm saying. If you wanted to branch out and try something new. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's a great point, is that you can have certain stuff in different places to represent you. I actually kind of talked about that at Cancelled Con. I actually use social media different than I thought I was going to be using social media a while ago. When I first started like really seriously pursuing painting and art and stuff as like a career, like wanting to do this for a living, I spent a lot of time assuming that I had to be on every single social media platform there was, and every time I made anything, I had to put it out into the world on each one of those social media platforms. And if I didn't do it, then like I kind of felt lazy, like I'm not posting all this stuff to Facebook and to Twitter and to like all these different places. But what I kind of found actually was, I think that there's like a kind of a power in using social media differently to appeal to different audiences. And what I started doing was, first of all, I don't use Facebook at all. I don't actually have any personal social media. Like I don't have a Facebook for my business or my personal life. I don't have a Twitter for my personal life. I don't have Instagram. I only use social media for my work, which maybe makes this a little bit easier. But I kind of ditched Facebook because I've never liked Facebook. As far as like using it, it's never clicked with me. And so I decided just not to, because I think that when you force yourself to use a social media outlet, it's very easy to become inconsistent. And then to you, it looks like you're posting to multiple places, and then maybe you just kind of slowed down on your Facebook. But to anybody who's following you only on Facebook, it looks like you're very inconsistent in general. So I just decided to just go without it because I knew I wasn't going to keep up with it. And then what I do is I post like works in progress and memes and crazy stuff on my Twitter. That's where like I'm very personal on Twitter as far as like interaction. Like my personality kind of shines there, I think. And then I kind of curate my my Instagram as like a collection of work. And I don't put works in progress over on Instagram anymore. I don't want to clutter my timeline with like a bunch of iterations of stuff. I feel like Instagram is a great place to just have, like if somebody's never seen you before, they don't know what you do, they're not really aware of your work, but they stumble upon your Instagram, they can just scroll through a giant timeline, like a collection of your work that's like unhindered and like not cluttered by tons of iterations or information. It's just a gallery, just like scroll through that gallery of stuff you're working on. And then I put only my best work on my Behance and my personal website.
Okay.
So it just gradually gets more and more, I don't want to say impersonal, but it gradually gets like less and less candid, and more curated as I go up like the proverbial totem pole of social media. And that's typically what works, so that you can have like people who just think that you're kind of meme-ish and you're funny on Twitter, and then there could be people on Instagram who are following you and are just like, oh, I just really like looking through this gallery. And then there could be people that follow you on Behance and they have no idea that you spend most of your time doing photo edits of Kylo Ren's face and posting him with blushies and hearts around his head. And they just look at your best work in your portfolio. So
that's good. That's good. It's good to hear. Actually, and I think that's I would like to ask everybody a question based on this, because I think this is good to hear you talk about all this stuff. And since people are responding, I want to hear about where people are managing their resumes or backgrounds. Like you as creatives, and Val, you could answer this. As a creative, as a freelancer, are you using LinkedIn? Are you using other sites? If you're, especially since you are a freelancer.
I don't use LinkedIn. I don't know why, because people used to ask me for my LinkedIn all the time. I think I made one when I was like 16, because I had a horrible concept art job experience. That was like my first brush with like trying to do any kind of professional artwork for a company, and I ended up doing like all of it for free and like didn't get paid or acknowledged for the work. And I had made like a LinkedIn and added like all of those people to my LinkedIn, and then like I did the work, I didn't get money for it, I didn't get acknowledged, and nobody gave me any kudos or anything on LinkedIn. And so after that, I was just like,
you're just like over it.
No more of this. and it's not LinkedIn's fault, but I just hated it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, and that's for everybody. So it sounds like you don't use LinkedIn. Some other people don't use LinkedIn, or maybe they do. But if somebody's reaching out to you about a job, what link do you send them?
I send them my Behance now.
Okay. And you don't have to say that just because you're on Behance, by the way.
No, really, actually, like I used to send them my website, but it got way too hard to like update my website constantly. I haven't updated my personal website in a lot of time, and I'm actually getting ready to update my website in a way where it curates itself. Because I have on my personal site, I have it set so that my Instagram feed is live on there, and I'm gonna actually like remove most things on my page and just literally have it be like a landing page where you can find my Twitch channel, you can find my Patreon, you can find my Behance page, and then underneath that there's going to be like a contact form, and then underneath that there's going to be like a live updated like clone of my Instagram feed that just constantly updates, and then I never have to touch my website ever because it's too much to curate.
I am exact same boat.
Yeah,
I use it for like, here's all my social media on paultrani.com. Here's all my social medias. Here's generally about me and stuff like that. And then it just links out to other places. Yeah, because it gets too much to manage.
I think
everybody's
like
even asking.
Too, you know.
Yeah, that is good. Sounds like Cody Bear. She sends them her Adobe portfolio. Nice. That's cool.
I think that you can also like have a domain, like have a personal domain, and then just like when people go to the website, it just will like connect to your Behance too. So then you can have like, I could have VooDooVal.com, which is my current website, and just have it go to here if I wanted it to
your Adobe portfolio.
Yeah, Andrew Hockrattle does an excellent job of covering those bases. Like every iteration of his like website and stuff that I've ever like looked up, it takes me to the same super cool site. You know, like he got all of the things that he needed, and then had them like pour it into the same place. And I think that is just super clever and awesome. But yeah, that's, you know, I think that it's kind of better for me personally to have like a very hands-free approach as far as my website goes. Um,
Yeah.
and then I think like my with Behance, I've been like curating it and uploading so much stuff recently, just for doing like the DCC and everything. It's become like my main updated source of like my best work. Um, so I typically, yeah, I just send people the link to the Behance if um let's see, if I get a message from somebody on social media and it sounds like they're very serious about approaching me for like a commission or something, I send them Behance. If it's somebody from like Twitch who's looking for a rebrand, because one of the things I do sometimes is I do like huge overhaul rebrands for Twitch channels. I do like animations and I do like overlays and things like that for people to brand their stream. um the nature of Twitch is a lot of times very like casual, and I noticed that there's definitely a difference between the kind of jobs that I get from people on Twitch versus the kind of jobs I get from people on Behance. So with those kinds of jobs, I kind of gauge like the vibe, and then I will kind of chat with them like in my Twitter inbox for a while, and then I'll pass them my email and then just go from there. Because depending on where they found out about my work, sometimes they already have an idea of like what they're asking me for, and they don't really need to see like the main portfolio to, you know, to be convinced, because they've probably been to my stream before, or they've been to somebody else's stream that's had an update by me, something that's like actually very common, and this is cool. I wish like more places would do. It's actually really common on Twitch where if somebody does the rebrand for your Twitch channel, they'll send you like with your panels, like below the video player on Twitch, there's like an About Me button and a Twitter button and a donate button and you know, a Patreon button, with just like all these different panels and buttons that are like custom art. And as an artist that does those, I also send them a free extra button that says Art by VooDooVal. And if they want to, they can include that and then link it to my website or to my Twitch channel or wherever. So I get a lot of people who've just been to other channels I've rebranded and clicked that, and they already know what I can do. They've already seen it in action, and so they're just like, here's my idea for my channel, please make that, you know? So
that's cool.
Yeah, so sometimes it's not necessary to like do all that extra stuff, but I just have different methods depending on what's going on.
Yeah, that's that all makes sense. I was kind of curious. We were asking that like internally. It's like, how do people get jobs? You know, I know some people that just use Instagram solely, you know, but I think that's more for people who do a lot of social media type posts. So it's like everything is Instagram and that's it. Yeah. And then I am reading other people that they use LinkedIn. Like I've never used LinkedIn. Never. I make sure it's updated and it technically has my official, like an official resume, if you will. But I don't really use LinkedIn.
I've never, even when I did have a active LinkedIn profile, I never got a job from there. The places that I get jobs from the most are Twitch and Twitter at first, because that's where people were seeing my work, and then now Behance. And I've noticed that also, depending on where your work is, there's also like a huge difference in like the level of seriousness from people approaching you about work sometimes too.
Oh, that's like, a good point.
Yeah, when I get approached about work on Twitch or Twitter, a lot of times it doesn't pan out. Like it never goes to like an actual paying job, because a lot of times people are just like inquiring about it, and they're not prepared for how much I charge for things, because there's a lot of I would say more beginning artists who have a lot less experience on Twitter, who will paint you something for like $30 that they
Yeah.
should be charging like a minimum of $500 for.
Yeah.
So people on like a casual social media site have a very different understanding of what art costs and what artists are worth and what they should be paying for the work that they're asking for.
Yeah.
And so I actually turn a lot of people down on social media, but the jobs that I've gotten from people on Behance, I would say 90% of people who approach me for work on Behance are serious about it. They're not just messaging me to start a conversation in my private inbox, which I get a lot of on social media. And almost every time I've ever quoted a price to somebody who messaged me on Behance, I could quote with like confidence. Like, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell people what you want to get paid for your work, because so many people don't understand how much art is worth. But almost every single time I've ever made a quote to somebody on Behance, they've been like, "Yeah, just tell me where to send the money." And they've been very like I would say there's definitely a higher level of professionalism as well in my experience on Behance with commissions and things too.
I could see that. I could see that for Behance and like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I mean, LinkedIn, you're there for business. Twitter, you might be there just kind of mess around, or Instagram potentially.
For the memes, yeah. Most people are there for the memes, and it's and they kind of see like art. I've had some instances where people saw like my art in passing, and they're like, "Oh wow, this is cool. I'd like you to draw this, and that for me. How much do you charge?" And they'll quote me something where I'm just like, "That's gonna be $800," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is outrageous. This is awful." And I'm like, "Well, you know, that's another thing we can talk about too, is pricing your art and having confidence, having the confidence to quote your proper prices. I try to take into consideration a handful of different things when it comes to quoting a price for my artwork. I think about how many hours it's going to take me to finish something. I used to charge I still do sometimes charge like a fixed rate for certain projects if it's something that I'm super familiar with. I've actually started charging hourly for some services now, just if it's something that I can tell this person is going to want me to develop things and try different iterations over time. So I don't think you ever want to get stuck in a position where you charge a flat rate for something you're going to have to do 10 iterations of, because it's almost never worth it, in my opinion and in my experience. Because you do the job once and you get paid for that, but then they also want you to do like 3 different versions because they're not satisfied with that maybe, and then like you kind of need to be paid 3 more times if you're going to do it 3 more times.
Yeah. And maybe, I guess it never hurts to be as clear as possible in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Like, try to think of every scenario, even if you end up with some general contract that says, I don't know what it would say, but something like that, just like CYA sort of situation.
Well, I tell people, for this price, if I do a fixed rate, I say for this price, this is what you get. And I say, I'm gonna do this commission for you. I make sure to specify exactly what kind of detail I'm going in for the painting. So I don't turn in something and they're like, well, can you make it more detailed or more textured? I make sure that I'm like, no, this is exactly the detail I'm going into. And if you want me to like paint it up anymore, or you want me to do any more coloring or anything, it's gonna cost extra money. Because that's where it starts like taking its toll as far as time and effort, is like when I start getting into rendering things. So I make that really clear up front, and then I say, for this price that you're paying, you get, I'm gonna do a sketch. I'll send it to you for major critiques. So if you're like, I don't like the outfit of this character, I don't like the hairstyle, I don't like the face, whatever, I can make those changes at that stage. Then I'm going to like bring it to like the midway, like late game of that, after I've taken your feedback into consideration. Then I'll send it to you so that you can give me minor changes meaning like I'll change the color of the hair, or I'll something like that, but I'm not changing the face or the outfit, because the character's not changing his outfit, I have to repaint his entire body at this point. So that's not happening. And then afterward, I'll send you the final one. And what I do is up front, I take half of the money up front, and then at the end we exchange the final payment for the final files without watermarks. Is basically how that works. And cool. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's fine. And sometimes if you're not clear enough, people really don't understand the difference between major and minor changes. And no matter what I'm doing, I always make sure I'm like, okay, how many hours is it going to take me to finish this, and make sure I'm getting paid. I think like a good minimum for somebody who's painting for a living or designing for a living, I think a good minimum is at the very, very least $30 an hour. There's people that make like $50 to $100 an hour or more for what they're doing. But I feel like $30 an hour is something you should at least try to strive towards if you're at the very beginning of your career. And then there's other things that come in hand with that. So you should be. I'm gonna do a little sketch here. I think that your prices should be made up of several things. There should be hourly consideration. There should be should take consideration for yourself, because they're asking you to do this art. So you're making, and you can like kind of tack things on as you feel comfortable. But I had to do a lot of this before I felt comfortable, because I was terrified to like ask people for money for my paintings, for my drawings. But I take in consideration like an hourly rate, like how much am I going to be paid hourly, and is that realistic? And then I take into consideration my own personal time. Like there's other people that could be asked to do this project, but you're coming to me and you're asking me for this work. So I take myself into consideration. And I do that specifically because I have a hard time appreciating myself in this process, because I'm so self-conscious of asking for money for my work. I don't know if that ever goes away. I think maybe that's why people get agents. Because exactly. It's very hard, but I take myself into consideration. And then I also take I guess any constraints that the client has. So like that could be like time, which I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with hourly. But if somebody says, hey, I need this done in 2 weeks and it's a 4-week job for you, I think you should be paid more time for kicking it into overdrive. But I would just say client needs. Yeah, it's the good, fast, cheap model. You only get 2, so they're taking away if you want it fast, it's not going to be cheap. I also think it's really great to spread around the idea of, so for a long time I was an emote artist for people on Twitch. I did emotes for people's channels and stuff, and I think there's like this really weird thing where people think that if you design emotes or you design logos or something, it shouldn't cost very much because they're small. And I think that it's really important to like understand exactly what you're doing for your client so that you can explain to them, and even gently correct some of their misunderstandings about your craft and your trade when you're quoting a price to them. Because I've had somebody say like, can I get a logo for $20? And I'm like, no. And they're like, but you're doing like the overlay for this much and all this stuff for this much, and they're judging by the size. And I'm like, no, man, because if I'm going to design a logo for you, I'm literally designing 50 logos before I get to one that might work for you. And I should be paid for all of those iterations and all of that process and everything in order to make a teeny tiny little readable piece of something that is going to read when it's teeny tiny on a business card and when it's blown up on your webpage, and have you like look at it and feel like pride in your own brand and feel confident presenting it to the world. Like that's a big deal. So I would say if you struggle with quoting prices too, understanding how to explain why your work is important is also a great thing to kind of get used to doing. And also something that I've said in the chat before, as far as I guess getting paid for work, because people always say, well, if I'm starting, like if I'm just starting my artistic career, you know, like I just got here, I'm just trying to make it in the world, I'm trying to develop a list of clients, I'm trying to build up a reputation and stuff. Shouldn't I be doing art for free, or shouldn't I be doing certain things like for exposure and stuff? And I tell people, I guess if in your personal opinion it works for you to do work for people pro bono, it's really up to you in the end. It's really your prerogative, like if you do that. But I believe that if a company or a client or anybody has enough clout that it would actually be worth it for you exposure wise to do the work for free, they should also be able to afford to pay you.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of not giving away things for free.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do it.
And
know your self-worth. And the only person that could really do that is honestly somebody outside of you, Val. You know, like have somebody else, a trusted person, say, hey, you know what, they should. That's why you mentioned an agent.
Yeah.
Somebody that knows, because you're going to undercut yourself. And you know what? You're not going to think about taxes.
Yeah.
And all the admin and putting the contracts together, you need to upmark whatever price you have by like 30%.
Oh, yes.
Because you got to pay for taxes and all that stuff. So you think it's a
fact,
high number, there's a good chance that the client could think it's like super cheap too.
Yeah.
You're like,
you really never know.
Only $500? Yeah, you could even play the trick of like, hey, usually these cost $1,000.
Yeah,
but I'll give you a discount.
Sometimes you do have to play that game though, because not everybody really gets it, and I think that we as the creative community do a positive service for ourselves and for everyone else in the community by educating people outside the community in a positive way about what it costs to make art, and the process with which we go into creating it. Because I think, like I said, like the whole logos are small, therefore they shouldn't cost that much. That kind of understanding it's an assumption from somebody who's never designed a logo before and doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't so widely accepted that was a thing, then people would be like, okay, I want a logo for my Twitch channel. I'm going to save up several $100s, or I'm going to save up a couple grand to have somebody design this logo or whatever. It wouldn't be like, oh, I've got $30. I'm going to try and find somebody who will design a logo for $30, because there's no way. I don't think it's possible for anyone to come up with a groundbreaking, perfectly done, excellent logo in $30 worth of time. And if they can do that, they should be paid like $5,000 per logo or more, like at the very minimum, and then they should be doing like $20,000 logo jobs for companies out, someplace, because they can come up with a logo that works perfectly on the first try in like 15 minutes. There's, like the amount of time and effort that goes into doing things like this, it's not really what people think. And so I think that we kind of have to strive to like show people that in a way that's not going to anger people, because I've seen it go bad online where people are like, well, you're dumb, you're not going to pay me this much, I'm not going to work with you, and all that. Like, don't come at it like that. Be positive, be kind to your fellow humans, and nudge gently in the proper direction. I think. I got a little second occultist waving his arms in the air right now, by the way, and he looks great. He looks
does
fabulous.
Look great.
How about now that many people need to make money since many lost their jobs, wouldn't this lower the price overall? Would it affect you as the market takes a hit? I would say nowadays, because of quarantine and because of everything, we should do. I think what we should do as a creative community is reformat how we present content and products to the non-creative world. Because before it would be people, people are working every day and they're making regular money and they have the disposable income to, or the income that they can actually feasibly put towards a business venture, like a business investment to get branding and stuff. That's custom each time, and that worked for a time, but now that we are in this interesting situation, I think rather than saying, I'm going to design you a custom thing, do something different, like put up a design package that somebody who doesn't understand design can use on their own, something that different people could get their hands on and create something different depending on who they are, and sell it more than once. Does that make sense? So whereas you could charge for custom work and every project would be different to different people, put like a design package up on your website or up on your Gumroad or whatever, and sell one thing to a lot of different people that can help them do the branding for their thing. Like kind of repackage and redesign how you actually sell your work, because I think it's kind of the difference between selling originals and selling prints. You sell the original thing, that custom awesome thing, to the client that commissioned that from you, and that's can be several hundred to several $1,000s.
Yeah.
But if you make a print of it, you're selling those at conventions for $15. You know what I mean? So like kind of do that. That's what's helped me with some of my side work, is like, okay, I'm not like, people aren't really shopping around for custom stuff right now because they're worrying about their own health and safety. But that doesn't mean people don't still need this sort of thing. So kind of do like a more marketable, kind of open-ended package that can reach a broader audience, that you don't have to keep doing the custom, and it's cheaper. But it's fine that it's cheaper because you're selling the same product to multiple people. I'm not saying that's the exact answer, but like that's just a way that you can go about reformatting how you're making money.
Yeah. Into it. Those guys are looking cute.
Yeah, he's got like his little friend. Cthulhu's got like his little shine. I'm kind of liking these, honestly. I'm kind of like keeping track of time here. I guess we have like about 30 minutes before we have to do challenge reviews, so I might actually go ahead and save this and bump it into Photoshop on the iPad. Actually, one more thing that I'm going to do before I change is I'm going to grab like a darker color here, like a darker green, and I'm going to darken his wings a little bit. I'm going to put them on like a darker blending mode in the back here, just so that his wings don't look like they're up in the front. I want them to look like they're in the back.
Very cool. Yeah, and like Val said, we have the Daily Creative Challenge that we'll be reviewing in about 37 minutes. So you can find that on the Challenge tab, just so you know. And actually has some starter files. While you do that, I'll give you a second, Val. I'll switch to my screen.
Ready?
And just show them that. Let's switch over to here. So anyways, Challenge tab, it's all about designing surreal architecture using the pen tool, right? And you get some starter files right there. And what's going to happen is you will go ahead and put them out there on Discord, and we'll be reviewing the current challenges. That's where they will appear. So that's the short of it. Oh, I see you're playing with blend modes.
I am. I'm just making his little wings a little bit darker in the back, so it's like it looks like they're behind him a little bit more, and he kind of pops out into the front. But now we've got our little acolyte dudes, and one guy is just like full of love. And then this other guy is just like waving his arms in the air because he's so pumped about Cthulhu coming to hang out. They're gonna play Super Smash Brothers, and it's gonna be an awesome day. But I am now going to switch over to Photoshop for iPad.
Sweet.
And this is cool because I think I kind of mentioned this to you guys before, but working in the mobile apps, it's like you don't really have to, kind of like what you said yesterday, you don't really have to like be saving your stuff constantly, you know? And you can also like go back and forth in between the apps really easily because it just saves into Creative Cloud files. So like if I hit my home button here, I have it's saving my document right now for me automatically, and I have like a bunch of different sketches and stuff that I've done. I've got my this is the Baby Yoda sticker that I did, by the way, that I told you guys that I did a whole sticker design
That's so cute.
in Fresco and then moved to Photoshop and cleaned it up and everything. This is it. This is what I did. Yeah, you have like this home page that has all the stuff. But if I come over here to Photoshop and I load that, then my stuff actually comes up if I go into my thing. There we go. It just
Yeah, and that's the only
uploaded.
confusing part. Make sure you go to Cloud Documents.
Yes.
Because it might not be on your home screen, and home and Cloud Documents look very similar.
Exactly. So it just took a little bit of time. You can see like I had like a earlier copy or two there, and then it actually just updated. So you can see this top one, this Cthulhu type one here. It actually just updated, and I can see both of my little acolytes are in there on the thumbnail. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click these little 3 dots here next to mine, and I'm going to duplicate it just because I want to have like an untouched version of it. And I'm going to open up the copy because I'm going to cut some stuff out of the background and things, and I'm going to edit this around, and I'd like to have like an untouched version of this. So the way I'm going to do that is there's a couple of ways I can do this actually. First of all, I can click my little 3 dots here on the right hand side, and I can say begin multi-select mode, and this can allow me to come through and like click around in all of these layers that I have and decide what I want to merge together. Fortunately, I actually well, maybe I don't. Let me see. I can actually select everything if I want to and merge them. I can also click those 3 dots and say merge visible, which I was actually going to do, except that one of my little acolytes is actually not it's actually on its own layer. So I'm going to select everything except my second little acolyte, just so I don't have to worry about cutting him out. I'm just selecting everything but him. Let me make sure.
You know, now that I think about it, so this is how Fresco and Photoshop are different when it comes to this multi-select mode. And initially I was like, I don't like it. Like, it's all these extra clicks, but see how easy it is for you to just like combine everything into one.
Yeah.
That's awfully nice. Because in Fresco, you have to take each layer and drop it onto the previous one or onto the other layer to group it with
yeah, you just drag it. Actually, I can kind of show that. I think I kind of showed that a little bit yesterday, but I'm going to jump back into Fresco just a little bit and kind of show the difference. Because they are really two totally different apps, and you can do totally different things within them, which is really cool. So if I open this, if I want to merge a layer, I literally can hover over, and you can see I can drag this and I can reorder, and I can just hover over the top and I can group. You see that grouped just like that. And then in Photoshop, I can just do the multi-select and merge and change and reorganize how I like that way. But now I've got my one little acolyte here on his separate layer, and then I've got Cthulhu and the other acolyte over here. And what I am going to do is there's a lot of cool ways that I can go about this. First of all, I'm going to cut out this first guy here. So I'm going to select that layer, and I'm going to come up here and play with the selection tools. And first I could grab like my lasso tool, which is cool. And I could come in here and I could like trace around our little guy. I can keep adding to my selection. I got to make sure in this, you can see there's like a little window here that'll float. And I can either make it so that I'm selecting from the selection or adding to the selection and all that good jazz. So it kind of depends on what exactly you're doing. But I can come in and I can just do kind of what I would do, honestly, in Photoshop for desktop. You know, if you guys have seen me do like the daily creative challenge, you know, I kind of use like different methods for selecting depending on my mood. Really.
You should be able to do select subject.
Yes, I'm gonna do select
Oh,
subject
sorry.
actually for Cthulhu. You ruined the big reveal, Paul.
I'm so sorry.
Gosh, man.
You're doing a great demo because that's exactly what you do. Is you show how hard it is.
Yeah, and
So
then
you appreciate how. Yeah. So that you should.
Darn it! You know what? I'm going. I'm going back to bed. I'm going. I'm going.
I'm okay with that.
Leaving. Oh yeah,
Go,
and I did
go back to
I
bed's
did just
nice.
remember. I did just remember this guy is totally wearing cowboy boots. We did put cowboy boots on this one. But I'm just going to yeah, do a little bit of erasing and adding to our little selection here. Let me zoom in right here. And I can keep adding, and I can go around, and I'm just gonna do this one because he's like pretty intricate and tiny, and I feel it really is based on like personal preference. I sometimes feel a lot more comfortable using the lasso around like super fine details, just because I want to make sure that it doesn't leave anything out, and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that for this guy, but then I'm gonna kind of demo the subject selection tool because it really is fabulous, especially if you are maybe doing something that's needing to be cut out, and you're not as confident using the lasso tool on your iPad. The subject selection tool is actually amazing. It's amazing.
I'm a mouse jockey. I use the mouse.
Do you really?
Which is really I use the mouse.
No.
But you do more painting than I do. Like I don't do a lot, but again, going to the iPad, selecting things with Apple Pencil is like so much easier.
Yeah, I don't understand how certain designers can just use like the trackpad and stuff, because I'm so used to having my Cintiq and having my tablet and everything, and I just don't get it, folks.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys are like masters of like hand navigation, because that would not fly in my realm. Yeah. I would not be able to do that consistently. So I've got this little guy selected, and it took a while, but I've got him, you know. So I'm gonna come over to my thing here, and I am going to say, let me see. Can I cut? I'm just gonna cut him. And then I'm gonna click again. I'm gonna make a new layer, and I'm gonna click again, and I'm just gonna paste him. So I have him. There's a lot of ways that you can do stuff. He's cut out here, and he's floating around, and that's cool. I mean, I guess maybe this is sort of the lazy way, because now then I have cut him out of the background, but I'm literally just gonna go through, and I'm gonna just color in the area where he was, and that's fine with me. You could also like duplicate him. It really depends on who you are and what you want out of your project and what you're cool with doing. That's totally fine. Let me make sure I got all this. I am gonna give him his little heart back. Don't worry, the heart's coming back. But now I have both of my little occultists on their own layers, and I am gonna color this other one in. But I'm gonna kind of bump him down like that. And now I'm gonna cut Cthulhu out too, because we've got like a pretty plain, boring background here, and it's not exactly what I want. So I'm gonna select my background, and he's kind of the only thing on there. So I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna hold down my selection, like just hold down my Apple Pencil or my finger on the selection tool. Basically, as a rule of thumb, anything in this program that has that little arrow in the bottom corner of the icon, that lets you know this is like kind of a collection of related tools. It's not just the one tool. So if you hold it down, it will open a little extra panel and show you other settings or other things you can select within that realm. And I am going to kind of flip through these here. So we use the lasso. There's also like you can kind of drag and select. You can do like this is a really cool one. This selection tool is like a paintbrush, and it actually adheres to like the pressure your pen and everything, and you can come and like draw around stuff and select it, which is really cool. Or you can do like just the standard marquee and rectangle selection tool.
And then
we're gonna do
there's
subject select.
And then there's that one next to it in between, the second to the lasso.
Yeah.
Is that like? But again, since it's the only thing on that layer, you could just.
It just kind of did it. I just kind of demoed it. I just kind of drew, like scribbled around where I wanted, and it kind of like auto, like, is this what you want? Basically. But I'm gonna do the subject select. I'm just gonna click it, and it's gonna think for a little bit, and then it's gonna do it for me. Boom. There we go. And my whole Cthulhu is selected. It's actually selected pretty nice, and I even like, because this is a painting, I even like went out of the lines in some places. Which happens. But honestly, it's good enough for me. And I am, let me see, I'm gonna look through, I just kind of want to look through all of these things, because let me see.
Do your thing.
Because what I would like to do is, the one thing that I find when I'm doing this is I do sometimes go to press like to find fresco stuff in Photoshop and vice versa, because I'm so used to them both. So I'm kind of like looking in here, because what I'd like to do is just duplicate him off of my canvas instead of like cutting him out. But, or actually, something you could do, this is something that's fun, and something that I did yesterday, also kind of like a weird roundabout way of doing things. So I have it selected, right? And I can hit invert down at the bottom, because you'll notice there's like a little taskbar down here that kind of shows you like all your things for like the deselect and the mask and the erase and the invert and stuff down here that you can just see. So I just hit invert real quick, and then like, if you really, some people are gonna hate this. Some people, like, I can already feel people hating this, but then you could just erase if you really wanted to, and I just erased the whole background so it's transparent. And I think, I know for a fact that there's some people out there in the chat right now whose eyes are twitching and they're like, why have you done this? But it's a viable option. It works. It's a thing that can happen.
And I think, so Val, I think what you're also trying to look for is you were looking for copy.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
it's kind of deceiving, because it actually says copy layer. But if you have something selected,
then it
select
does what
copy
I want.
layer, and it'll select what you have selected.
Awesome. Well, I'm actually
Or
I'm
copy
gonna undo, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that just to demo it. So I'm gonna go back. So I had that, because I believe in Fresco it actually says duplicate selection. So sometimes I'm like, getting used to the different.
Actually, try that.
kinds of
Try
stuff.
duplicate. What if you hit duplicate layer?
Let's see. Ooh, it just duplicated the actual layer, regardless of my
okay.
selection. So I'm gonna say copy layer. Let's see. Did it do it?
Yeah. I mean, you won't know until you paste it, but now.
Now I have to paste.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, like, have it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Add
Pasted it in place too.
Oh, did you? Oh, and when you did paste, you didn't have to. Did you make a new layer, or did it automatically?
It made its own new layer on its own.
Okay.
Which is great. That's great.
Okay, cool. So we basically did copy paste.
Yes.
Sorry, that doesn't sound really exciting, everybody.
Hey, you know
I don't know
what
what to say. That's
it's
all
like
part of life.
groundbreaking when you've been wanting to be able to do this on an iPad for so long. It's actually it makes my whole day. It really does. Because now if I'm on a train or going someplace or whatever, or I'm in a hotel or something, I literally have the capability to do everything that I really want to do just on my iPad without any worries. I actually, to be honest, this is it's such a big deal for me because I don't have a laptop, and I spend a lot of time, like the times that I've gone to San Francisco, like to host in the studio or to teach the DCC in the Adobe studio. I frequently found myself in a situation for a long time where it's like I had an iPad, but I did not have an actual laptop with like the full version of the apps on it. So I'd go back to my hotel room and I'd be like, well, I guess I'm gonna get into the studio tomorrow early so I can use a computer to do any last minute editing or whatever that I wanted to do. And then I felt bad because I think I was like showing up so early that Senna was like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
But now that I have this, I can literally sit in my hotel, like on the go, and do everything that I would do if I had my computer comfortably in front of me, which is great. So it's been really awesome. It's like having a laptop or having a whole computer, to be honest. Like the difference between the work that I can do on the go now versus then is exponential. Huge change.
Looks like somebody asked about alpha lock. So there's no are you talking about locking transparency, Amir? I think you're asking about that. What you'd actually do in Photoshop is you would probably make a selection and turn that into a layer mask.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Which
But I love lock transparency in Fresco.
Oh yeah, same.
You know.
Same. I'm gonna trim around here, but I can actually, I can show you how to do a layer mask if you like. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna do that little subject selection. I'm just gonna click that, and it's gonna select my little guy for me here.
What? Oh yeah.
And then you can just hit mask. And I guess my selection was not as clean as I thought it was, so it masked his legs weird. But then you can come over here and you can just drag left and right, and you can see the image in the mask and mess with it however you like. So that works. Okay, so now we have a transparent background, and we have our two little acolytes that look just amazing. I honestly want to dedicate a part of like a post or a part of my Behance project specifically to these guys. They're gonna have their own little moment of fame, I think, because I think that they're so cute. And what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna make a little like sticker that looks like a Polaroid kind of, and I'm gonna use clipping masks for that. My favorite Photoshop thing of all time. I just knocked down a water bottle. Sorry, just like flourished with my arm and swiped something off my desk. But you guys know I love clipping masks, and I have them. So what I'm gonna do, let's see, how are we gonna do this? We can do something interesting, because what I want to do is I want to make like a background. So okay, so I'm gonna actually hide my acolytes. I'm gonna hide them. I am going to hide my Cthulhu. I'm gonna hide him. I'm gonna unhide my first layer, my first Cthulhu layer, and I am going to do something really weird here, because I'm gonna make like a background texture. So I'm going to grab my selection tool, my lasso, and I'm gonna start selecting random parts of my character here. And I'm gonna start just pasting it in weird places. And I know that this is gonna be really weird for a little while. I'm literally just gonna start like tiling pieces of my illustration around.
Yeah.
This is gonna be strange.
I think I know what you're doing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's like, yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Do it. But yeah, I think I know what you're doing. So.
Okay. I'm gonna just do this for a little bit, so bear with me here. And it's gonna look really weird for a while. I'm gonna just keep duplicating the layers now that I've got a few of these, and I'm gonna keep rotating pieces around and just throwing it all over the place. Let's see. Let's get another one of these weird eye pieces. I'm gonna click this and say duplicate layer again, and I'm going to transform that, and I'm gonna bring it over here, and I'm gonna tile it around and do like maybe this, and I'm gonna drag that to the top. So that is weird, but I'm gonna merge all this down, or actually I'm gonna merge visible, and now I'm gonna come in with my selection tool, and I'm gonna grab my marquee, and I'm gonna, let me see, I'm gonna do like a different thing here. I'm gonna subtract from this. There we go. Boom. So I have like this little weird square piece of stuff, and I'm gonna duplicate that. Copy layer, and I'm gonna paste it. Boom. And then I'm going to hide this bottommost layer. So basically what I did here, I know this is strange, is I'm making like a weird background here. So I've got like a collection of stuff that's like loosely related to my image. And I am going to, first of all, I'm going to duplicate this because I'm gonna want another one. I'm gonna duplicate this layer and hide it. Paste. Boom. And I'm gonna hide that. And now I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna make like an adjustment layer here because I want to change. I'm gonna add a clipped adjustment, and I'm gonna say hue and saturation. And I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna make this like red and creepy. Boom, just like that. And I'm gonna say, okay. I'm gonna hide that. And then I'm gonna come down here. Let's see, I'm gonna come to this little thing here and I'm gonna say Gaussian blur, and I'm gonna blur it. If I'm on the right, hold on. I am not on the right layer. I'm gonna do that again on the proper layer. I'm gonna say Gaussian blur. I'm not gonna blur it too much, but just enough that it's like a weird different thing. There we go. And then I am going to unhide this guy. And I'm going to drag this to, well, no, I'll leave that. I'll leave that here. No, I'm gonna drag it underneath here. I'm gonna reposition it like so, just like right behind it. I'm also gonna rotate it because like that's good to me. And then I'm gonna turn the opacity down on this thing. Is that basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to make like a weird something just to put in the back here, which this is weird. Like, I know it's weird. Don't worry. I know that it's strange. But I just needed something real quick just to demo how I'm going to make like a strange background here. Okay. So I've got these. I'm actually going to, can I merge? What happens if I merge this down? Merge down. And let's do it again. Merge down. Boom. So I have like this weird, strange concoction of pieces of Cthulhu right now, and I'm gonna put one more clipped adjustment on it, a hue and saturation. Let me see. I can do hue and saturation. Yeah, that might work. It's weird, but I kind of like it being red. I'll change it to like dark. That works. And then yeah, that'll work. Okay. Okay, so I have this like weird, strange, textury amalgamation that's just like low-key terrifying. And what I'm gonna do is underneath here, I'm gonna make a new square selection, and I am going to hold my little modifier here to constrain it into a perfect square. Grab my paint bucket. I'm gonna fill that square. Let me make a new layer here. I'm gonna fill that square with a color, and then I'm gonna make this let me deselect here. I'm gonna make that weird texture clipping mask. So now I have like it doesn't have like the blur around here, right? Cool. And I'm gonna duplicate this layer. Oh, it took my clipping mask off. I'm just gonna put my clipping mask back on. There we go. So I duplicated the little green square I have, and I'm going to transform this now. I'm gonna transform it because I'm gonna make like a little Polaroid shape.
Ah.
There we go.
Okay,
Boom.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah. It's a little weird. It's weird. But I have like this little shape that looks kind of like a Polaroid picture now. Boom. And I'm going to change the color of it. I'm gonna make another clipped adjustment on this guy here. I'm gonna change the hue and saturation to something a little more like an off-white kind of thing here, kind of deal. Boom. And I'm gonna say okay. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab my Cthulhu. I'm gonna unhide him. What is this? Hold on. I'm gonna select him, and I'm gonna also make a clipping mask. Let's see. Can I? I'm gonna drag this. I'm gonna drag him here and make. Oh, that's my clipped adjustment. Hold on, 1 second. I'm gonna go into multi-select real quick. How am I doing on time? I got like 10 minutes.
Yeah, Tim says this is the Cthulhu's new dating profile pic.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Just emerged from who knows where, some caves. Like, hey, you know what? I gotta get back on the market.
So I've selected all these, and I'm gonna say, can I say merge layers? Did that work? Kind of worked. It kind of did what I want. I think, yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. What I actually really want is for the mistake that I made was that I did these separate. So when I wanted to merge, like kind of clipping mask him into only the little square part around there, it didn't work properly, but that's fine because what I can do is I can drag.
And you could always merge down as a feature
yeah.
in there if you need to.
I'm going to actually just go like that. No pixels selected. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm just going to select around here, and I'm going to duplicate this little part for myself. If I can. If it will allow me to do this. Let me make a new layer. I think I'm pressing with my hand on places where I don't want to be pressing with my hand, so it's deselecting. So give me 1 second.
You're good. You are good. And yeah, so we have you guys have about 8 minutes to get your daily creative challenge in for us to review.
I could actually subject select. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, wait a second. No, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this out here. Let me deselect. I'm gonna use this one. See if I can. Ooh, is it gonna do it? Oh yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
I'm just trying to select this one piece in my little strange Polaroid I've got here, but I'm kind of going about it the hard way, which is my fault. So I apologize for struggling. Sometimes though, when you first try something, it doesn't always work out the first time you try it. And I think that like we have like this really weird, like kind of fear of like things not happening on the first try. And then you get a little self-conscious about it, but I feel anytime I can show you guys that I've messed up on something, I will, so that people stop feeling bad about messing up on things.
That's what I tell myself when I mess up. I'm like, I was just showing you. Yeah. I was just showing you I was just showing you the wrong way to do it.
Exactly.
When I really I just screwed up.
Yeah, I just don't know what I did. But you're like, oh my gosh, nobody saw that.
But as most people say, like you mainly only learn from your mistakes. That's
exactly.
The only time you're really learning is from when you mess something up. It's like,
so I just actually finally did it. I just finally clipped it how I wanted to do it. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Boom. So I've clipped him. He's like in a clipping mask, and he's exactly in the place that I wanted him to be in. And he is he's only in that little tiny part of the Polaroid. And he's just kind of like in there doing his little thing. He's just standing. I don't know if I should show his whole body. I should just have like his whole body in here.
Maybe. Sure. Well, actually, what you could do, even if you get this on, say, the desktop or something, you could have you could duplicate this. Like you could have multiple Polaroids, basically.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So
I'm gonna put him in just like this then. So he's just like kind of standing there. And then I'm gonna put his little guys next to him in the Polaroid. I think I actually kind of want to desaturate this as well. I wonder if I put, hold on, if I put adjustment, flipped adjustment on here and I desaturate it, is it going to mess up my,
Yeah, I don't know. Is this profile pic for LinkedIn or Tinder? I don't
It
know.
could be
Noah.
either. It could be either.
Currently,
Honestly.
it could be either one because technically he's naked.
Yeah, he is. You
But
never
he
know.
also doesn't have clothes either, so
Yeah,
he doesn't need them. So he has nothing to hide.
he has nothing to hide. He's very open. He's a very open gentleman. No lies. No lying. What more could you want, ladies? He was always truthful. All right, so I got our other little acolyte guy.
People are writing little bylines for him for his
Good.
in his profile pic.
Good.
For his Tinder profile.
Like
Tinder has to be taking a hit right now. Those dating apps must be taking a hit.
Oh,
so hard
definitely.
Right now.
I would think so. Yeah.
I like this. Tim, I love that description. He's Christopher Cthulhu, tall, handsome, slimy. I'm a humble deity with a big, although purely evil heart. Big Katy Perry fan. I enjoy deep sea diving and ripping out souls.
That's perfect.
That's pretty good.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Tim.
I clipped them all into
That looks
this
good.
little thing. So it's like they're like posing like, yeah, we're with the Lord, we're with like the Lord of the Deep. He's so cool. You know, we're in our robes. It's awesome. And he's just standing there like, yo,
and
my name's
proof.
actually Ted. I don't know why you guys call me Cthulhu, but okay. So I'm also gonna do like a really nerdy joke here.
This is on monstersonly.com.
Yes. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna see if I can brighten this guy up. Well, no, it's not gonna work the way I want it, but that's fine. That's fine. So I've got them in here. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mess with.
You could make an adjustment layer that's brighter and then paint with a layer mask on the adjustment layer.
That could work. That could work too. I think I just like kind of saturated the background and darkened it a little bit, and that makes them pop out a little bit more. So that kind of works for me. But okay, let me hide that. So okay, so they have like we have like the little guys in there, and now like we've got this. Let me see if I can. Oops, did not mean to do that. Let me see if I can open this up one more time. I'm gonna darken that slightly. There we go. Now that looks like more like a Polaroid. I kind of made it a little more off-white. Okay, so we have our Polaroid and we have our Cthulhu, and we have our little occultists in here, and they're posing and they're having a great time, you know, smiling for the camera. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a really lame joke. For the caption of our thing, because you know people like they write on the Polaroids, you know, in that little space at the bottom, like what people were doing in the picture or whatever. I am going to make a pun, sort of. Maybe it's not a pun because it's not really a real word. So I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's either Relaya or Relay. I think it's the name of the fictional lost city that was first documented in the H.P. Lovecraft story Call of Cthulhu. Like it's like the weird, crazy city that the old ones come from, or some of them come from. And I'm gonna say having a relay good time at the bottom here, and I'm gonna spell it like they spell the city. So I'm gonna find. I actually did choose a font, but I think we kind of wanted to show off like fonts real quick. Do I have time to do? I mean, I know we have to do the reviews right now, but I think we could just do this and then jump into. So let me see. I'm gonna go to my thing. I'm gonna grab my my text here, and I'm gonna click. And I'm gonna write this out. I'm gonna say having a relay. How do I spell this? R apostrophe Lyeh. A relay. Good time. All right. Perfect.
Sweet.
All right. And then I'm going to bump the font size down a little bit. Let me select everything. Select all and bump it down just a little bit. That's fine. And then I'm gonna find my font. I'm gonna see if it put it in here. I don't know if it put it in here. Let's see. So how, maybe you can walk me through how, if I like activate a font that I like I have a font that I like, how should I go about finding a font and then making it come up into my Photoshop? This is like a cool nifty thing we have here now.
I would use a Creative Cloud app.
The Creative Cloud app. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump over here. So I have like fonts kind of in here that I've done. So basically, if I go to Adobe Fonts, like on my computer or in my Safari, and then I find a font. Okay, so I see it says browse all Adobe fonts, and then I have like my install fonts. I can say.
Yeah, you could click show active fonts.
Okay. Show active fonts.
Stuff. But you want to be able to activate. You want to find a new one, and this is where you could do it.
Okay, so
these are.
I can actually browse fonts I don't have installed here. Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I actually have a name of a font that I liked pretty well. So I can say filter fonts, or can I search for the name of a font?
That's a good question.
Maybe not. That's fine. We can kind of look in here. What I want to do is I want to find something that looks like here we go.
Yeah,
there's handwriting. I'm gonna say headings.
Cool.
And I'm gonna say let's do like a heavy weight because I want it to look like they wrote on this with like Sharpie. And that's, I think this Mary Dale will work. That looks like the handwriting of somebody that just like wrote on a thing here. So all I have to do is just hit these plus buttons right there.
Yeah.
Do I need to install the Fonts app? It's prompted me, like, do I want to? Should I install it?
I would.
Okay. Do you want to, like, hide all of my personal info? Just in
Actually,
case
what I'll do is as you do that, I could start the Daily Creative Challenge.
Oh, perfect. And then we'll do fonts when we come back. That sounds good. All right. So are you switched away right now?
We are switched away. You are in the clear. Go ahead. Check your Twitter. So thanks for hanging out with us today, everyone. Of course, in this challenge tab is where you'll find the files. Essentially, it's all about designing a surreal architecture using the pen tool and other selection tools. So it's surreal architecture we're looking at. And then you just post it to current challenge, which is in the Discord channel. So that being said, I'll dive into Discord. You can see it right here, and it's like Julie already just posted something. Let's just go ahead and add a fun reaction there. Play at home. So using the pen tool, I think is what's being done here, being clipped, kind of putting that clock over the type right there, which is awesome. Again, I think the pen tool can be pretty difficult. Oh, so this is somebody says, Tan asks, there's no city where I am here, so here's just a landscape, which is also cool.
That's great, actually.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Nice colors.
Yeah, I really like this one. This is from Gioli, I think. This is Bern in Switzerland, he says. Use the pen tool in the building with the clock and change the sky. I love that.
Oh,
That's cool.
Oh, and change the sky.
Yeah.
Huh. Sweet. I mean, this looks like it's color tinted or something, but yeah. And I should point out that like this is I don't know if she's posted it, but this is Kathleen's sort of version, just as a reference point.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Ebony's, again with a pen tool, outlining some buildings and then throwing a gradient on it.
Nice.
And even just playing with the blend modes would be kind of fun.
This is
just cool.
Kind of changing the colors and making like a wacky building in the distance. That's awesome.
This is good. We have from Willie. Yeah,
I really like being able to see the before and after as well, because I want to see like what you started with versus what you've changed, and it can like kind of help give like a little bit more feedback as well.
Yeah.
As far as what can improve. I personally, that one that had like the hot pink building, I
Yeah.
actually really loved the one, like the building next to it that has like all the blue and pink in it. And I
Yeah.
think like the
Yep.
gradient for like the pink and purple on the other one was cool too, but I almost kind of want to see like a little more attention to detail as far as those edges, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
trying to, and that's when it comes to the pen tool, sometimes it can be really hard to like get into like the groove of like, you know, curving it around and making hard angles and points and, you know, things like that. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, but I kind of like where it's going.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a reason that Kathleen picked architecture, because typically you would have lots of hard lines and things like that. Because some of these, like I see outlining of trees, you're probably going to use a different selection tool, something else other than the pen tool. But look at this. This is cool.
Is it the one, if you can call out the name of the person you're looking
sorry.
at, because then I can follow along
UV
with
rays.
it. UV rays. All right, let's see.
Took an image from Unsplash.
Oh, yeah.
From a cityscape from his hometown. It looks like Seattle.
This looks like a really cool like Instagram promo or something.
Yeah.
You know?
The @ symbol gets a little lost.
I did think it
otherwise-
was a circle.
Yeah,
for a
I
second.
didn't know it either. But I love playing with depth. Like the play is in front, the @ and home could be like behind.
Yeah.
It just makes things so much more interesting.
You know what I might have done is instead of having it around the needle, like kind of leave the needle as an interesting like element on its own, maybe do like some kind of interesting just like waving lines that kind of intersect and like overlap and underlap it, and then have the play at home kind of hidden in and around all of the different depths of the buildings.
Yeah.
On the right side there.
Yeah.
Would be cool.
I think that'd be cool.
But still really interesting, really cool. I like the kind of a noise texture-y kind of vibe that's going on over it too.
And I will say the color is like great.
Oh yeah.
Good use of color. You only have this like pop of color right there is so nice.
I agree.
For the tower.
I love it.
Transkis, I'm going up. Play at home. I do see
that.
the text done, so that's cool. This is a fun case. So what I would actually do here, even though it's not part of the assignment, is I'd push this back a little bit and then put a reflection of that text on the wet sidewalk.
That's great. Yep.
You know, just make it look like a neon sign. This like that would just be a fun. That'd be a fun challenge.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it could be cool to even try and put that on one of the existing signs, like Photoshop off, like something that's there, and then put the play at home there, like on the the one. I don't know what it says. It's the one that's in English, like the black sign hanging down, and the play at
public
home
stand.
Yeah, and the play at home could even be like cut off, kind of like the word public is. And then the reflection of it could be like on the ground on the sidewalk. That'd be cool. But this is cool. I like the colors that the color that you chose for play at home to go with this thing. I don't think I would have chosen that color myself, but I like the way it looks. I think it was a good choice.
And good glow. Let's roll up. And that might have been for a different challenge, by the way, because I see. Oh, that's day 7. I don't even know what day we're on. Here's Kathleen's, by the way. So this is the start of it all. Kathleen's play at home. So she played with depth and everything. So that's cool.
I really like the one from Gerard that has like the colored birds. If you scroll down below where you're at right now. I think. Oh wait, you know what? Yeah. I'm looking at the stream, and you're so far behind the stream. I keep forgetting that's not live. Yeah, the ones with the birds sitting in the little bird dish is really cool. It's like, you know, they're like a lot more saturated and cute. I think those birds are adorable. I love birds. I like that you kind of made the birds like parrot colored, though, like with the yellow, red, and green. That's super neat. But yeah, I like these. Really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And that might have been a like color challenge or something. That was another one that they had. Oh, here's one I think I missed. Sorry about that. CC.
Yeah.
I'm looking at CC's just beneath that.
The play at home from CC.
Look at the difference. Like this is good.
I honestly, like, I'm actually really impressed with the difference between the separation and cleanly look of the grass versus the concrete. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
And also the readability of everything in the very back by the stadium. Like, in the original picture, I couldn't even really see what was going on back there, and then somehow, like, editing it with these crazy colors has made it like I can actually understand what's in this scene a lot better than the original. This is cool.
Yeah.
It's well done.
And I don't know if Kathleen showed this, because it looks like this, like if you want to have this play at home, it looks like was the sky outlined with the pen tool? It could have been.
A little bit, yeah.
That's what I feel like it. And you could go ahead and have that text and use a clipping mask and clip it to that sky to put the home behind the stadium. Just a thought.
Just have it kind of overlap just a little bit. That would be cool. That's great. This is great. Well done, folks. Oh, there's one
job,
more.
everybody.
There's a new one.
Ooh,
from Tunk. Yeah.
Tunk?
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. Oh, that's so clean and.
Boy, this looks like. Yeah, this is
That's
definitely
good.
a museum somewhere.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Good job.
That's really clean use of the pen tool. Like, it's flawless, and the colors that you use and the blending modes that you use, it works super well. Like, I almost might think, like, it's obviously the colors are unnatural, but I almost might have thought for a second that this is like its natural state. That's clean. That's very clean.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Good job.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Well, good job, everybody. Feel free to keep submitting.
Yeah, definitely keep adding some in there. If you're new, I guess, check out the challenge tab, because we got challenges going on like the whole week, all the time. So if you don't know what we're reviewing right now, definitely there's a challenge tab above the chat. You can check out and get involved and see what we've done in the past, what we're doing now, and stay tuned for what we're doing next as well.
Oh yeah. And I mean, that being said, well, we'll show the schedule. We only have like 15 minutes left.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna do this text thing here. So it looks like I got, like, I'm in the Creative Cloud app, and it looks like everything has been added. It changed my little plus things there next to each version of the font into little check marks with my mobile device there. So I'm gonna see if I come over here into Photoshop. I come over here and let me grab my text tool. I select it all. If I come in here, what was that? Ooh, what was that font called, actually?
Oh gosh.
That was called Marydale. If I come over here and I open my fonts, yeah, there it is!
Sweet.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then I'm gonna increase my font size here.
And a lot of these new controls and properties for this text is pretty new as well, just so everybody knows. It's one of those other things. But the big thing that actually was added today is, so if Val was doing this on the desktop, and then she went to her iPad and opened up the same PSD file, it will automatically sync this font in the background.
Yeah.
So that just happened as of today, is the automatic syncing of fonts, or automatic Adobe font activation. Only happens for Adobe fonts.
I'm like messing with the length of my font text here.
Yeah.
There we go. I think that's good. Having a relay good time.
Into it.
I love it. I think this is great. I think they are having a relay good time. I think they are. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. That's what I want. I'm just gonna transform it larger instead of editing the font size. And then so we went in and we got like little like kind of found a font that would be good. We made our little Cthulhu and Acolyte dudes kind of like they're taking a picture together. I think what I'll do, like, as far as like finishing touches. Let's see. I'm gonna, first of all, I don't think I'm gonna change anything with like how they're situated. So I'm going to, let me see, I'm gonna merge visible.
Oh, that's so
Awesome.
crazy. Are you sure you want to do that?
I just did it.
You are such a rebel.
I know, I'm a monster. And I'm gonna say done, but I'm gonna. Well, remember, I did make a copy of this. So I guess technically I'd have to do a lot of work, but this is fine because all I'm gonna do is I have this. It should be like if I go to my, it's just sitting in my files here. So if I go over to Fresco and I go home, then let's go to Cloud Documents and let's give it some time to, there we go. No way. So cool. And I can open that up. This is bonkers. It's bonkers, guys.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, like this is a Photoshop Cloud document that will appear on your desktop, in Fresco, like everywhere. So you don't have to worry about, putting it in Dropbox and or exporting out a PSD or any of that stuff. There's no export. It's just automagic.
Oh, you know what? I opened it before it saved. This is one of the earlier ones, I think.
But I think that did point out that it was actually using. You were actually able to see all the layers.
Yeah, that was the earlier version of it. So I have that one with the layers, and then I just didn't wait long enough. So this is the one that has like the font that we chose and all the guys in it. And I'm gonna make a new layer, and I'm gonna come in with my Apple Pencil, and I'm gonna do some little tiny itty bitty highlights on the little occultist dudes.
Cool.
I'm gonna give him like some little. I'm keeping them green. I think they look good in green, honestly. I wouldn't normally choose like a weird green like this for like dark occultists, but I think it works. And I mean, I think that they seem to have like a pretty good track record of being like kind of the kindest occultists I've ever come across, at least. Can neither confirm nor deny meeting copious amounts of dark occultists in my day. But if I had met a lot of them, I feel like these guys would be the neatest, the niftiest occultists that I'd seen. I almost gave myself away there. Almost started telling all my dark secrets. But yeah, I'm just kind of gonna noodle around and add a little more depth to these guys because I think they need it. Little bit of light. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. I think they look good. I'm gonna actually grab like this dark green color because this one doesn't really have a lot of shadows.
What size iPad are you using?
I think this is the. Shoot, I think this is the.
It's like the iPad Pro or.
Yeah, it's the. Well, it's like. I think it's like a 12.5.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it's actually not. It's not the new one though. This is like the one that you could have that just barely made the cutoff for being cool to use with the Apple Pencil.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, they look pretty cute. Cool. These are the cutest evil guys I've ever seen in my life. I love them. And they look like they love me too, which is great. Which is perfect. I'm just like kind of highlighting their little handsies. They're so cute. I also, because I know we're coming close to like the end here. I'm also wondering if you guys think I should add anime blushies to the occultists, yay or nay?
Is that like give them rosy cheeks?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yes, exactly. Do they need rosy cheeks? It's up to you guys. I'm gonna let you guys decide.
Yeah, rosy cheeks.
Little cute little cheeksies.
And what brush are you using?
I am using right now. I'm using the Belgian Comics brush.
Okay.
I am going to switch to the natural brush.
So you are in your favorites.
I am. I've got like halftone brushes, the hard pastel. I like my main go-to is the natural brushes and the pencil brush. So natural brush 1 and 2 and the pencil brush are like kind of my go-to. I do go in a lot with like some of the basic brushes, like the hard round, but I kind of don't count those because like everybody has those. So I just talk about like the more unique ones that I always gravitate towards.
Sounds like everybody says yes. Blushies.
Blushies. All right,
Yeah.
You got it, folks. Let me give them like some little more shine on the top of their little hoodies here, and then anime blushies it is. Let's see. I kind of like that this one has like more sketchiness in him.
Yeah.
So let me grab
Yeah.
like, there we go. I'm gonna sketch in like his face a little more because I like that the other one had like more of a dark face because it's like a little more sinister and scary that way.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, Steve, Val could, he's just mentioning a lens flare, but yeah, all that stuff
I totally could.
can happen. I mean, that's probably like, what I would do with this is I would eventually end up in Photoshop on the desktop and see it on a larger screen and to try all those extra little fun things like lens flares or whatever else.
All right, so I got those in. I'm gonna grab a red. I'm gonna grab like a red color. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's the stuff, guys. Look at that. Look how precious. Oh no, too cute. Honestly, if they knocked on my door and they're like, "Hey, we're here to steer your soul for Cthulhu," I'd be like, "You know what? I don't even need it. I don't need
You're
it.
so
Take
cute.
it. It belongs to you. It's yours." Maybe should we give Cthulhu blushy? Oh yeah. That's a good look. That's a good look, Cthulhu. It suits you. Yeah, that looks good. So I guess this is a little tutorial on how to make terrifying monsters cute. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys were into it. I think we're probably coming to a close here, though, aren't we?
Are.
I'm gonna have to say.
Kind of wrapping up. Once you do, and you might do some final touch-ups like after the stream. But where are you gonna post this? Are you gonna?
I'm gonna post it to my Twitter, actually.
Okay.
Cool. So that's usually where I post like all this stuff, and then I'll probably post it onto my Instagram very shortly. And then I'm gonna actually make a Behance project that has like all the cute little monsters that I've been doing.
You know what? You could also
Export to Behance.
Yeah, and on that Behance project, you could put these live streams.
Yeah.
The final piece, and then drop in the live streams.
Absolutely. But yeah, there you have it, guys. There's my little guy having a really good time.
Haha.
I hope there's at least one like H.P. Lovecraft nerd in the chat that like gets how profoundly hilarious that joke is, because it's not like a joke that you can just tell to anybody, but I get it, and I know there's like gotta be like some obscure strange people that get it too, and it's for you. This one's for you.
Totally. I just learned how to say Cthulhu. Took me 2 days to learn how to say that word.
You did pronounce it like 4 different times yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
But I wasn't
finally
gonna say
just
anything.
I just replaced the
You just started saying,
whatever
so this
with
guy
K.
you're drawing, so this little dude. I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I had a good time. Thank you guys for joining me. This has been Obscure and Strange. That's me. Yes, Tim. I mean, definitely Tim.
Dagon would be proud.
Yes. Cthulhu. Yeah. Cthulhu. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Into the play on words.
Yes. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And thank you, Paul, for hosting. It's always a pleasure to stream with you. We have a blast every time, you know that. But I'm really pumped that we got to also kind of do this remotely. This is pretty neat. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
Do it remotely, yes. I'm glad we've been able to do this. So
yeah, it was fun.
Good to have you, Val.
Good to have you too, Paul.
You're awesome.
And good to have you, chat. Thank you guys for chilling.
Yeah, thanks for chilling with us. Don't worry, we got more coming up, by the way, so like stick around. We have, we'll leave you with the schedule, but Julia is up next. Looks like she's going to be doing a mock-up in Illustrator, which will be fun.
Nice.
So cool. Well, thanks, Val. Cheers to you with my, my social distance social club glass. And
cheers to you with my chroma keyed frog cup.
Chroma keyed frog cup. Cheers. There we are. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Val. I hope to see you sometime in person at some point.
Absolutely.
Not now, but soon.
One of these days.
One of these days. Everybody, thank you to Val. Thank you for hanging out with us. But stick around, Eric and Anthony and Philippa and Amanda and everyone. We have more Adobe Live coming up. We'll leave you with that schedule right now. So thanks so much, everybody.
Adios, folks. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned.